Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to a review video. So, as you guys may or may not know, part of my New Year's resolutions this year is to try out different people's builds located on the forums or things that are sent to me, etc., and try to kind of live a life in their shoes and do my best to recreate their build to the best of my ability. Play it as strong as possible, as close as possible, and kind of go for things. So this build is another Strimtom build. It's our second one, and Strimtom's Tempest Rangers for all folks old and new. R10 Viable Tempest Ranger. So this is for a ASMR Ranger level 20, which happens to be what we were trying to do. We planned these back to back here. Build guides pretty reasonable for everything that you need, including like gear lists and stuff like that. Feat orders here. Something that was a little bit disappointing to me was spring attack all the way at level 24. I don't know if there's a way that we could have worked it in earlier, besides like maybe not take an improved trip until level 24. Maybe that would have not been as good. I'm not 100% sure. But after the previous life where I had spring attack, I really missed it on this Ranger until level 24. Let's see. Also, I still feel like Dire Epic Reflexes is weird to me. I think it's just something that a lot of people do, is they get the situation set up where they don't fail on a 1. Even if it seems like I can't quite get my saves to the same spot they are. So like for example, Samus's saves are 61 in Standing in the Harbor and like 66 or something like that in Reaper mode. So it's just not enough to like power things through. Otherwise, the build pretty much makes a lot of sense. I mentioned this previously, but I have a few extra points than Strimtom was originally building with. So I get to not only take the ASMR Scourge essentially for free, or mostly for free, but I also get to spend a little bit of time and energy dumping extra points in a Fadark Illusionist via Arcane Archer. So I have the opportunity to take illusionary weapons. Illusionary weapons is actually a game changer for me in a lot of situations on this build. Again, I don't have a lot of the desirable Morning Stars for this build. I don't even know if there is a desirable Morning Star for leveling up through the TR process or the ETR process. So you end up, in my situation, I end up using the Epic Ethereal Morning Stars basically all the way through. And then at 29, I switch into like the Morning Lord stuff here. Which again, not ideal. Especially in situations where you need to break some DR, like Legendary Shrouds, for example. And that is where I found the ability to whip out your Shadow Blades to be quite good. Legendary Shroud, stuff like that. I recently acquired the, which one is this one even called? By the way, it's a quick side note. Make sure that I call this the correct thing. I think it's the Wave. Yeah, the Wave. I'm really enjoying the Wave. It's really fun to me. Anyway, build. Back to the build. Sorry. Overall, I think the build did a pretty good job. At 29 and 30, I felt like I could contribute to above Reaper like 4 quests very well, if there was a reasonable amount of other crowd control as well. Prior to level 29, I don't think I could have contributed to like Reaper 5 plus, but I feel like Reaper 4 was fine for things that are level appropriate. So like 25, 26, 27 in Giant Hold, I could get away with like Reaper 4 and not have that big of a, like, not feel like super behind or just getting smashed constantly. At level 20, 29, did some Reaper 8s and Reaper 10s. Felt like I was getting smashed nonstop. And then to start this morning's stream off, I jumped in a series of R10 Feywild quests with a couple of alchemists and I feel like a Sork maybe, something like that. Usually a pretty reasonable group. I just felt like I got smashed nonstop. There just wasn't the crowd control you need for this kind of build, in my opinion. Overall, I feel like the build kind of makes a lot of sense. It played well. It did reasonably good. It's nice to have a gear list to kind of chase for. I believe this gear list is a little bit on the older side, updated for update 40, and we're like on what, update 47 or something like that, right? So the gear is a little bit outdated. 48, sorry, 48. So the gear's a little bit outdated, but I feel like it's still pretty much salvageable, like following things along. A lot of the problems I had with this were the same problems I had with the previous level 20 Ranger build going wisdom based, and it's just felt like the gear was never really there at all. Now that could change if I pick up these beacons of nights and day. I just never was able to acquire them. Yeah, overall I thought the build was fine. I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoy having an abundant leap type effect on melees, and this gets to with the dire charge and the spring attack. And also it was really nice actually having trip land a reasonable amount of the time. As you can see, it's a 36 here. However, because of Reaper enhancements and stuff like that, it actually goes up quite a bit more in Reaper quests. Don't know if it's consistent enough to land regularly, but it did feel really good for me. Also, it didn't hurt that I decided to do next fall set, mostly because it was cheap and it was cheap. And we were tripping things well enough to be able to make things happen. So picking up the extra damage to trip targets makes a lot of sense if you're dual wielding, in my opinion. Yeah, overall I thought the build was fine. Is it for me? No, it is not for me. This is definitely a sidestep, strength builds, melee. I really struggle bust, especially in high Reapers. If we had somebody firing off, locking things down with color spray or mass hold persons or anything like that, I felt like this thing was a beast. Like it just melted bad guys when they were held. But if they were not held, it really struggled. We really relied on our meld quite a bit. That is definitely one of the things that we changed from Strimtom's build. Let me pull that back up one more time. Down here on some of this twist. I followed the... Hello, Moto. I followed the Destiny layout, except for the twist. He wanted Sense Weakness, Balance Attacks, Primal Scream, and Dragonhide, which Dragonhide gives you don't fail your Fortitude saves on a 1, which seems pretty good. And I took Melded Darkness instead of the Primal Avatar, the extra 3 points of damage or 6 points of damage. Because Meld, I feel like, is very important just to help keep you alive. And I also had the extra points. So I did Dance of Flowers, and I only took Dragonhide at 30. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but I didn't feel like Dragonhide was what I wanted. But then I decided to trust the plan at level 30. So if I had to give this a grade, I don't know. Like, for fun, for me personally, probably like a 7.5 out of 10. I had a lot of fun in different times, but I feel like it was a big uphill battle in a lot of situations to stay alive and still contribute in a meaningful way, especially in the new world of alchemists everywhere. You know, because their crowd control can be really good, but it can also be not very good. And they could just plan on blasting everything to death, which means if you get in a situation where you need to crowd control a bunch of things, it can get a little rough. But I just did a bunch of like R8 pluses with a pug group, and we worked together and coordinated well and had a reasonable amount of crowd control. The quest just melted really nicely. So, with that in mind, for a melee build, seemed pretty reasonable. Again, I never quite got my strength as high as I would like. 90s outside of Reaper if I really wanted to by drinking a strength pot. Of course, I could have went and got Yugo pots and stuff like that, but it still feels a little low. I don't know what I'm missing. I have a strength artifact. I have insightful strength. I have quality strength. I've got my profane well-rounded. So I'm not really sure what I'm missing to boost this strength even higher. But I'm sure there's something and someone will tell me. Oh, and also Primal Scream also helps a lot. Alright, well overall I thought it was good. I will link the build like I did previously. If you have other comments on it, please let me know. And please like, subscribe, and follow. Don't forget that these are recorded as part of my Twitch stream, so you can check us out Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time, and then again at 7 p.m. Central Time. Alright everybody, peace and much love, and we'll see you soon. Toodles.